Introduction, the bait and the hook. Every provocation is a transaction proposal. Someone offers you an insult, a jab, an unfair accusation, a public needle, and requests, in exchange, your composure. If you accept the deal, you pay with the most expensive currencies you own, your calm, your judgment, your image in the eyes of everyone watching, and your next several hours of mental peace. The provocateur collects all of it while spending nothing but a sentence. Most people accept this terrible deal instantly, reflexively, thousands of times across a life. They snap back, justify themselves, escalate, brood. And then there is a small class of people who seem built differently, the ones who receive the same jab and respond with a mild smile, a beat of silence, a question so calm it makes the provocateur look suddenly loud and small. We call these people unshakable and assume they were born that way. They were not. They have simply understood, consciously or by instinct, what Niccolò Machiavelli spent his exile years writing down, that provocation is a strategy, and strategies are defeated by counter-strategy, never by feeling. Machiavelli watched the most provocation-rich environment ever devised, Renaissance courts, where a well-placed insult could bait a rival into the misstep that ended him. His observations translate with eerie precision to boardrooms, family dinners, and comment sections. This article extracts the method, what a provocation actually is, why intelligent people fall for it anyway, and the 5-part response that turns every baited hook into the provocateur's own problem. First, understand what a provocation is. Machiavelli's foundational move, always, was to strip the costume off a behavior and examine its function. Apply that to provocation and the findings are clarifying. A provocation is not an opinion, though it dresses as one. It is not honest criticism, though it borrows criticism's vocabulary. A provocation is an attempt to take remote control of your behavior, to install an emotion in you strong enough that you act from it rather than from your interests. Look at what the provocateur gains when the hook sets. You, angry, argue worse. Flooded people lose access to their best thinking, and every debater knows the flushed opponent is the beaten one. You, defensive, look guilty to onlookers who arrived mid-scene. You, provoked into shouting, hand him the role he wanted all along, the reasonable man beset by your instability, and if the scene had witnesses, that footage outlives every fact of the dispute. Provocation, in short, is the art of making you the evidence against yourself. Machiavelli would add the crucial corollary, because provocation is instrumental, it is impersonal. The needle about your weight, your salary, your parenting, it was never a sincere report about you. It was selected, from an inventory, as the button most likely to produce the desired malfunction. Grasping this fully is half the cure. You cannot be insulted by a crowbar, the words were only ever a tool, and the tool says nothing about you and everything about the intent of the hand holding it. Why smart people take the bait? It would be comforting to believe intelligence protects against provocation. Machiavelli knew better, he watched brilliant men destroyed by crude bait, and modern experience confirms it. Intelligence often makes the hook set deeper, for 3 reasons worth naming honestly. First, smart people over-respect arguments. Their instinct, facing any verbal challenge, is to engage its content, to correct, refute, contextualize. But a provocation has no content in the ordinary sense, engaging it is like answering a fire alarm with a lecture on acoustics. The provocateur does not care that your rebuttal is superior. Your rebuttal is his product, you are now performing agitation, at length, in public. Second, smart people carry articulate self-images, competent, fair, respected, and a well-aimed provocation threatens the image directly. The more precisely you can describe your own worth, the more precisely it can be targeted, and the defense of that image feels, in the moment, like a matter of survival rather than a choice. Third, and most subtly, intelligent people believe they will win the exchange. Confidence walks them into terrain a humbler person would avoid. Machiavelli reserved special warnings for exactly this, the capable man baited into fighting at the time and place of his enemy's choosing. The battlefield was the trap, his skill just made him certain enough to enter it. The correction for all 3 is the same reframe, a provocation is not a test of your arguments, your worth, or your abilities. It is a test of one thing only, whether your behavior can be operated by someone else. Every other consideration is decoration on the hook. The pause, seizing back the clock. The entire physics of provocation lives in a window of about 3 seconds. The jab lands, your body floods, and in that hot interval, the provocateur owns you. Whatever you do from inside the surge is his output, not yours. Everything Machiavelli taught about power begins here, with time. The player who controls tempo controls the game, and the flooded man has no tempo. He only reacts. So the first concrete skill is embarrassingly simple and disproportionately powerful: insert a pause between stimulus and response, deliberately, every time. Breathe once. Hold the provocateur's gaze pleasantly. Let the silence sit, 1 second, 2, 3. This does 2 things at once. Internally, it lets the chemical wave crest and begin falling, returning your best thinking to the table. Externally, and this is the part people underestimate, the pause reverses the pressure. Silence after a provocation is agony for the provocateur. His line hangs in the air, exposed, increasingly loud in retrospect, while you examine it like a specimen. Many provocations die right there, in the pause, unanswered and somehow already defeated. Machiavelli's courts had a saying's worth of wisdom about this: the man who must fill every silence serves the man who doesn't. Train the pause until it is your default, and you have repossessed the only ground provocation ever really contested, the 3 seconds after the bait. The response toolkit: 5 moves that beat the hook. From inside the pause, with your judgment restored, you choose a response, and the choosing itself is the victory. Here are the 5 moves smart people rotate through, in escalating order of engagement. Move 1, the nothing. Receive the jab with mild, benevolent boredom, a small nod, or return to your coffee. Deployed well, this is devastating. It prices the provocation at exactly its true value, 0, in front of everyone. Machiavelli admired rulers who let small insults fall like pebbles against a wall. Reacting to trifles, he noted, only advertises that trifles can reach you. Move 2, the agreement. Absorb the jab by cheerfully conceding it. You might be right, I'm no expert. True, I do like my routines. Provocation is a lever that needs your resistance as its fulcrum. Agreement removes the fulcrum, and the lever swings through empty air. Nothing is funnier, or more disarming to onlookers, than a barb landing on someone who simply doesn't mind. Move 3, the question. Return the provocation to sender with calm curiosity. What makes you say that? What are you hoping I'll do with that comment? Say more, what's the concern exactly? Questions reverse the direction of pressure. The provocateur planned for your defense, not for an audit of his intent, and intent is precisely what a provocation cannot survive having examined. Watch him suddenly do the explaining, the softening, the "I was only joking," the retreat of a sniper whose position got lit up. Move 4, the naming. For persistent or public provocation, describe the move itself, neutrally, without heat. That sounded designed to get a rise out of me. Was it, or simply, noted? Now, back to the budget. Naming the game ends the game. A provocation observed out loud is a magic trick performed after the explanation. The tone matters absolutely, descriptive, almost clinical, never wounded. You are a commentator, not a casualty. Move 5, the exit. Some provocateurs, the chronic, the intoxicated, the malicious, will escalate through everything above. For them, Machiavelli's counsel on unwinnable battles applies. The supreme move is refusing the field. "We're done here," said once, followed by physical departure, unhurried, without a door slam. Leaving calmly is not losing the exchange. It is declining to hold an exchange with someone who came only to burn your time. The one asset, the old Florentine would remind you, that no victory ever refunds. The long game, becoming expensive to provoke. Individual responses win moments, reputation wins the war. Machiavelli's deeper counsel was always about the standing arrangement of things. and the standing arrangement you want is a reputation for being unprofitable to provoke. That reputation is built exactly the way it sounds, dozens of small occasions on which bait was cast toward you and came back untouched, witnessed, remembered. Provocateurs are economists, they do not fish dead water. Within any stable group, a workplace, a family, a friend circle, 6 months of consistent non-reaction quietly removes you from the target list altogether, while the hooks migrate toward livelier fish. Support the reputation with maintenance of the machine that produces it. Composure is physiological before it is philosophical. The underslept, over-caffeinated, chronically depleted version of you has a hair trigger no technique can fully override. Guard sleep, guard recovery, and guard something subtler, your inventory of unhealed sore spots. Every insecurity you quietly work on, every old wound you actually process, is one button permanently removed from the panel. The provocateur can only play the instrument you bring into the room. Bring one with fewer strings. Conclusion, the only person at the controls. Assemble the whole method and notice its shape. Understand the provocation as remote control, and it stops being personal. Respect the 3-second window, and the pause returns the clock to your hands. Choose among the 5 moves: ignore, agree, question, name, or leave, and even your mildest response is a decision rather than a reflex. Build the long reputation, and the bait stops arriving at all. Notice also the thing this method never once required: winning the exchange of words. That is Machiavelli's final, most liberating inversion. The provocateur's frame says the contest is between his line and your comeback. Smart people simply refuse the frame, because the real contest was always between his intent and your self-command, and self-command is the one arena where he was never armed. The perfect retort you compose at midnight was never the missing weapon. The pause was. The question was. The unhurried exit was. A final word on practice, because composure is a muscle, not a decision. Do not wait for the high-stakes provocation to attempt these moves for the first time, rehearse them where nothing is at risk. The aggressive driver, the rude clerk, the baiting stranger online, each is a free training partner. Run the pause, try a question, practice the unhurried nothing. 10 low-stakes repetitions build more real capacity than any amount of reading, and when the provocation that matters finally arrives, from the boss, the relative, the rival, your body will already know the choreography. 5 centuries ago, a sharp-eyed exile wrote that fortune commands those who do not command themselves. Every provocation you will ever face is a small local test of exactly that proposition, someone reaching for your controls to see if the seat is empty. Let your entire practice come down to making sure it never is. A calm breath, 3 seconds, and a mild smile. From the outside it looks like nothing happened. From the inside, everything did. A hostile hand reached for the wheel of your behavior, and found, sitting at the controls, fully present and faintly amused, you.